Okay, the final part of the training is just to basically do an exercise, a real life exercise or example of a spreadsheet, combining a lot of what we talked about, particularly the lookup functions, to see how it would work in a real world. This is a spreadsheet I created for an area manager a good few years ago now, actually, at least 2 or 3 years ago. But the data is current. So what this shows is the area manager on a weekly basis gets a report. This is how he gets a report. I'm not quite sure whether it's emailed to them or they generate it themselves from the back office. But either way, they get this report which shows their stores in the region, how much usage value they've used in that week, how much wasted values, what the losses and stock losses are etc. The lines counted and the variance. He gets that each week, or generates it each week, and he wants to basically see how that store is doing for the period. He also gets target info, so he wants to combine that to see how we are against targets. So what I'll probably do is break this video up into several sections because it might go on quite a long way depending on how, because I'm basically doing it from scratch more or less. So I may make the odd mistake here and there. So this is the first table I created. Basically, I split down the stores into each individual areas. You could actually use lookups to do that in an easy way, but I just basically copied the sales figures to create each area's figures. Sorry, which store is in each area, and I'll use that as the basis. So this is me generating this. So I want the usage value for each period. Sorry, for each week totaled. So I've got 4 sheets to total the usage value for. Same for the wastage, the stock loss value, and the lines counted. So how do we do that? Well, we need to look up the store in week 1, then look at the store in week 2 and add that together, store in week 3, and then store in week 4. We've only got 1 week's worth of data in this example. What I could do is create one big line. So I'm going to look up VLOOKUP. I'm going to look it up in weeks 1's table. Yeah, so you select the whole table. What it is worth doing at this point is not just stopping at the end of the table. I would add a good few extra lines because as and when new stores come on, you can continue to look. If I stop the table there and I added new stores, the VLOOKUP would stop there and would never find those new stores. So I'll give it a bit of wiggle room. In one region, that's another 10, 15 stores. That should be plenty. So that's the table we're looking up. So in the VLOOKUP, the next one is the column index. And this is we're looking up the usage value. So the store code is 1, store name is 2, and usage value is 3. And then we just type in false. So that comes out as £120.67, which let's just double sense check that. It's Chesterfield, £120.67. So that is right. There's because I've created this and deleted it to reshow you from scratch. There is some conditional formatting in there, but ignore that for now. So I could do the same for week 2. So I could just do plus and do another VLOOKUP. That same value in weeks 2's table, etc. Again, it'd be column 3, false. Why isn't that working? Oh, why isn't that working? Because there isn't any data in week 2. So what it's trying to do, it tries to find 44 in this column, but there isn't any 44 because we haven't reached week 2 or hadn't reached week 2 when we created this spreadsheet. So what we need to do is use the if error. So if error, that is an error, which in this case it's a legitimate error. We're just going to put it in a blank. And that's still not worked. Why isn't that not worked? If VLOOKUP A2 if error. Why isn't it working? Let's just try that again. Didn't immediately see why that was an error. So plus if error. The value, I think I missed a curly brackets. So the value is VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is looking up that value in the week 2's table. Again, you go down to the same value what it was before. For the purposes, I'm not particularly precise. You want the third column and false. So that's the VLOOKUP. So finish. So we now go on to VLOOKUP. I don't think I actually needed that extra column bracket, so I'm not quite sure what the error was last time. If it's an error, do that. And it is a value. Maybe it's because it's trying to add a blank to a text, but no, that normally would be okay, to be honest. But in this case, it's not. So basically, rather than finding a blank cell, because blank cells usually return as 0, it has come back. So we're putting it as 0. So if it's an error, use the 0 value. So the period to date is still 121 because we're only 120 pounds because we're still in week 1. So we'll repeat that for week 2 and week 3, and I would also make sure we add the error into week 1 as well. That would actually generate, in fact I can show you how would it, let's just put the if error in there just for completeness. If it's an error in there, we're going to put 0 instead. I'll miss out a bracket, that usually means. In fact, I've got rid of the VLOOKUP, so that should be a VLOOKUP. Yeah. So I just want to, just doubling the length of that, except I want to look into week 3, and I want to look into week 4. Let's put the plus side and wrong side. So there. Why can't it find week 4? Week 4 is. See, that one's perfect. I missed the space out of week 4. There we go. And that should be. Put those in there. So that should work. So we've got quite a long formula, and as you can see, it can quite get complicated and can be easy to make mistakes in, and to troubleshoot. Especially, like I said, I created this a good few years ago for all of the area managers, and if I came back to this now, it would take me time to decipher what all that meant and if there was any changes or errors where that needed to be changed or corrected. So perhaps an easier way is just to do some insert. So if I insert 4 cells here, just make them a proper, don't really want them that big, so let's just do a nice simple line like that. These are all usage values for the individual weeks. So this is for week 1, so I just do a VLOOKUP in this week 1 table. I will go down to 120 lines. Column index was number 1, 2, 3, and do false. So that returns the right. So yeah, that has returned the right value. So I just missed a bracket off. Just make the decimal points bigger. So that's the week 1 value. first thing I need to do is do some anchoring. If I'm going to copy and paste this, I'm going to copy this space across, so I want to anchor A because I still want to always refer to the store numbers when I'm moving it across, but I don't want to anchor it down because I want to refer to different numbers as I go down. I also want to anchor the table because the table's not going to change. So now I also, for completeness and easiness, I'm actually going to change that 3 just to a match. So I'm going to match usage value in week 1 type 0. I'll show you why we've done that a bit later. But the whole idea of creating tables like this, you can see there's going to be a lot of data that I'm going to type in. All I really want to do is create one formula that I can work all the way through. I might need to tweak it on the first lane of first row and then copy it down, but on the whole I want to keep it the same. So if again I just need to do some anchoring. In this case I just want to anchor row what I want to anchor the row, not the columns. As I move across I still want to refer it to the right headings, so I'm going to anchor in the row 1. Again I just want to anchor the table array. So if I copy that now, that's obviously going to be 4 sets of week 1's data, which is not what we want. So, but it's a very easy change just to change that 1 into a 2, that 1 into 2, that 1 into a 2, and that 1 into a 2. And as you can see, what I should have done is created if error first off. So I'm going to do that again, if error. That whole statement is false. I'm going to return it as 0. Now I'm going to copy it across, and then you could do a find and replace just like you do in things like Word and stuff like that, but it's only 2 things I'm doing. So that's actually 3. I want that one at 3, week 3. Week 3. Week 4. Week 4. Just double checking those are right. Week 3, week 3, week 4, week 4. Ignore that green arrow. That's just an information probably telling you that the formula is not exactly the same, but we don't want it to be exactly the same. Okay, so that works. So what we do for the actual usage value is it's just a simple sum. So we've got the 4 weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and we just sum it up. And we get the value. So when we put week 2 into this cell, in this table, it will pull the week 2's data to there, and then add it up. But we don't need to see that, so we're going to hide it. Like so. Then we can do the same for the wastage, except we can do it damn sight quicker because we've already got the formulas already sorted out. So just unhide that again, so get those back. And I just make that wasted value. So I just copy this now. I don't need to make any changes to that because it's searching for wasted value in week 1, wasted value in week 2, wasted value for week 3, wasted value for week 4. In fact, I could have and should have copied that across as well. And it will also give me the total. So then I can hide that. And then I would hide that, except I want to do the same for the stop loss. Make the headings right. Copy that across. Start off value. And then I want to do the same with the lines counted. 2, 3, 4. Got 4 weeks. Copy that, make the headings right. This is a power of match. Without match, I would have to change these individually, but once I create the formula once, or at least once for each week, so it's only 4 different formulas. That's the lines counted, so there's no decimal places. I'm just going to reduce that. We'll come on to the targets in a little bit. So all I need to do is just hide those. And it makes it a damn sight easier just to troubleshoot any errors that you get in there. It makes the table look easier to find errors, but you don't have to spend 10 minutes to work out what the formula. What's the word I'm trying to say? Deciphering the actual formula to work out what the actual values are, or where the errors are. And you can easily just unhide it. Oops, unhide. See whether the error is in week 1, week 2, or week 3, or week 4, and then try and track it down that way. And then what I could do is just select them all and then copy it down. But I'm going to wait until we've got the target info. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop this video, and we're going to finish it on the second video. Okay.